Welcome to Season 2 of the Crypto Pulse podcast, your ultimate guide to the world of crypto, Bitcoin, and world economics. We're here to guide you through the crypto universe with thought-provoking topics, in-depth knowledge, and information to help you make informed decisions. We'll also be interviewing some of the best minds in the industry, such as CEOs of crypto projects, traders, economists, authors, and development teams from around the globe. And now for the episode.
This episode is brought to you by Yield App, and daily compounding interest on your digital assets with its intuitive web platform and their newly launched mobile app, which is available for download on both iOS and Android. Plus, don't forget to refer your friends to earn extra rewards. Visit yield.app for more information. Hello and welcome back to the Crypto Pulse podcast. In this episode, we interview James Farzio, who is the creator of the Soulless Citadel, a story-based NFT collection based on the Zilliqa blockchain. I hope you enjoy. James, welcome to the Crypto Pulse podcast. We're super excited to have you. How's it going?
Yeah, Kevin, nice to meet you and Ben. It's going well. Yeah, I'm excited. This is really exciting.
Well, we were really excited when you guys reached out to us because we had that amazing interview with Kevin Mayer from Zilliqa. We've had such good feedback from the Zilliqa community, and we've seemed to have amassed a lot of following from that community. And to actually speak to a project that's building on that platform is really cool, and obviously like what you're building as well looks super exciting. So I kind of want to start off by diving into what the Soulless Citadel is and like how it's come about really, and where the concept's from.
Yeah. I mean, start off with the Zilliqa community is like insane, right? Like,
Yeah.
They're
Completely.
like really so supportive in such a tight knit community. It's awesome. So Soulless Citadel, it's a story-based NFT, so it's an NFT project that its main purpose is following along with the whole story and a world we're creating. So I am a filmmaker by trade, and that's kind of why I've taken it that path. It's kind of, this is like a culmination of my NFT kind of journey coming together with my storytelling journey.
So the NFTs that you've got, so I've taken a look at the site. I love the artwork, by the way. But the characters that are in the artwork are also feature somewhat in a story that's being told.
Yeah, so within the story, I mean, there's obviously main characters, right? And even within our NFT kind of ranking system, it goes kind of by that, where there's legends and mythics, and then heroes, warriors, and mercenaries. So some of them, the main legends are definitely featured within the story and actual a main character. And then the rest of the whole collection is based off of all these warriors that are trapped in the Soulless Citadel.
Before this became an NFT-based project, was this a story? I mean, was this a story that's been in your head for a while? Is this something that you've wanted to kind of bring to life in some way, or is this like a brand new story that you've kind of just married to the NFT world? Yeah,
I think if I may, kind of my journey, I started NFTs early 2020, and it's like when I was stuck in COVID lockdowns, and my family and me had this crazy COVID lockdown experience. And I couldn't do any filmmaking. And I was like itching to tell stories or do something. And I had been in crypto since 2017. So I started my own personal NFT art journey, doing one-of-one art pieces and basically kind of like expressing what we were going through art and stuff. And I always had this I had this passion to combine NFTs with storytelling. And it's like, as the larger kind of generated art collections came out, and then you could see the communities that were being built around these, how they would just there's 10,000 pieces of art all in one collection that then this whole community takes on this Web3 identity, right? And then become this unstoppable community. And so when I started seeing that, I was like, man, it would be amazing to start a collection that's based on a story that kind of takes this whole community along for the journey, right, as you continue building. Yeah, so for me, really, I started just creating this art. and I didn't have the full story when I started the art. I was kind of thinking like late at night, I'd draw these characters. And as I started making these characters, I was like, oh, I'm going to call these characters like they're soulless, like they're based on soulless. And then I started getting super connected with them. And then I was like, why are they soulless? And then from there started the whole story. And I was like, hey, this is it. This is the project that I want to bring the filmmaking, storytelling side with my NFT art.
So what was the answer to the question, like why are they soulless? Because that's a really deep question to ask yourself about these characters.
Yeah. So yeah, because like when you see in the art, like the eyes and everything, like they don't have pupils. They're just like glowing eyes or black eyes or red eyes. Why they ended up being soulless is they were cast into the soulless. So as far as the story, like we've been launching in chapters. We call them chapters, which basically we have chapter 1, which tells the beginning of the Soulless Citadel, why the characters are trapped in the Soulless Citadel and why they look the way they do. And then as we move forward, we're releasing new chapters. So chapter 2 will be mainly focused on the women from this clan. So yeah, if you want me to tell you a little bit about the story, I could tell you why they are.
I'd love to. I would love to. Yeah, let's do it.
I think we're both keen. Yeah. Do this, and I know our listeners would like to know this as well, because we haven't really spoken to somebody about like the creative, the idea stage of these types of projects. So this will be really cool to dive into.
Yeah. So it takes place a long time ago, and it's just really interesting as we talk about developing, like the story has developed so much more as we continued going, and the world that we're kind of creating around it. But the premise of the whole story is there's kind of these elite warriors in my story. They're called the Light Walkers, and you can kind of think of them as like 300. Like they're raised to be warriors. They grew up being warriors and being protectors of this land, and it's really focused on dark and light, right? Like the Light Walkers, they have this magic or this power that comes from the Almighty. They called him, but you don't know in the story yet who is the Almighty, where the magic comes from, things like that.
Okay.
But there's a battle. So this huge battle takes place against the Light Walkers and Tenebris, who's this dark kind of overlord who has dark magic, and he has an army of people called the Forgotten Ones, which are basically every people group and every warrior that he has defeated. He turns all the warriors into his Forgotten Ones, which are like kind of a mindless horde basically, and kind of deformed and beasts. And so long story short, they get in a battle, which we have depicted this, like we have a trailer, an anime trailer of this whole chapter 1, so you can kind of go watch this and see what I'm talking about.
I was going to say it's awesome. I'm looking at I've taken a look at some of the artwork. Can I ask how much of this artwork have you done? I mean, have you brought people in to kind of assist with the illustration? I've seen the trailer. I mean, it's very kind of like of that anime style. Is that your work?
So I created all the NFT art, and then I actually brought in my good friend who has created documentaries with me in the past. So we've done a lot of filmmaking together. I had been talking to him about this idea for a long time, and I brought him in. And so me and him created this art together. He came in a little bit later in the project and kind of helped me finish the NFT art. And then the actual anime, like the animation art, like I don't do that art. So we've outsourced with an animation artist.
Yeah, nice. It's beautifully done. One of the questions I get asked all the time, and this is a dumb question that's potentially kind of off-piste a little, but with some of these NFT connections, we see collections that have got up to like 9,999 pieces of artwork in it, and they've all got different characteristics. Like you're not physically illustrating that many pieces of artwork, right? How is that bit done?
Yeah, so I know. I mean, everything that you see on the characters is hand created.
Right.
So you create every individual. I think we had over 200 hand illustrated pieces for our art collection.
Wow.
And then basically you team up with the developing team who then does the whole code of the random generation. So,
Right. Okay.
So then when you click mint, that's generated randomly your art, all the different attributes. It's pretty crazy in general because you have to make sure each piece doesn't overlap.
Fits.
There's a lot to it. Yeah.
I can imagine. I was going to say it's probably pretty cool for you as well as an artist to kind of see art in your style that you've never seen before. Like when you start minting stuff and it's like a combinations of things that you've just never imagined.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, because you create all these attributes, and then obviously I have a preference, right? So when we did sneak peeks, so we wanted to show people the art for the coming mint, it's like you hand pick out attributes you like, you put them on a picture, and but there's so many combinations I would have never done or thought about that ended up being my absolute favorite, in the end. Yeah. So that's pretty awesome.
Where are you guys at in terms of like where the project is at the moment on your roadmap? Like where have you got to, and then what's coming up over the next sort of few months?
What's been pretty unique, I think, with our project is we fully partnered with an incredible developing team, Quinens, and so we're both on 100%. So it's like we're tag teaming stuff. So we're actually developing a lot of stuff, and so we basically like hit everything that we had in our current roadmap, and then times 10 what we decided we were going to do. So it's been everything pretty ambitious. I mean, we minted chapter 1, all the men warriors from the Soulless Citadel. We moved into chapter 2, began telling that story. So we have the women warriors. Basically in the story, they end up, once the men have been cast into the Soulless Citadel, the women have to step up, take matters in their own hands, and basically their goal is to free the men from the Soulless Citadel. So that's kind of where the story is going. But we have chapter 2 coming with a second NFT mint, and partial airdrop to like our current holders of chapter 1. We're developing a game. So the developing team is going developing a whole strategic game for Soulless Citadel. So they're in the works on that right now. Our story development team, we've actually, we're working with the writers from Batman Forever, like the first Batman.
Nice.
So yeah, they've joined our story development team, and we're actually right now in the works of developing the full screenplay for the actual story. So, because the end goal is to make this into an actual anime series or full feature. So
are you talking about the original Batman Forever, the 1995 film? Yeah. The original. Wow. Okay. I remember that was such an iconic movie. I mean, it was like, it was completely different to any of the other more modern Batman movies. I mean, it was kind of like a bit more vibrant and fun and kind of, interesting. It was some really good writing, actually. Yeah. So those writers, they're a couple, Janet and Lee Batcher. They've joined with me to help kind of flesh out this whole story and world together.
So I just have a question about the NFT. So if I hold one of the NFTs, what sort of things do I get as an NFT holder, and what sort of things will I think have in the future? We've been very focused on,
basically because you build a community, right? And an NFT project is a community, and it's all the community, right? Like the community makes a project, and so we have a really amazing community, like really strong community. And so we've been really focused on, how do we bring value, because we're going to continue making, we're continuing on the story, right? And the world we're developing goes in so many different, like it's pretty robust, right? As far as what the story is. So current chapter 1 holders, what we've worked on now is, which is like a first for NFT project in Zill, is the chapter 1 NFT that you hold, which is my 2D art. We are now in the process of creating 3D art avatar, not 3D art, I shouldn't even say, metaverse ready avatars. So the Soulless that you own, that you've became your identity or whatever that you use for Web3, we're working towards doing the whole collection of and it's actually embedded in the same NFT. So you didn't get airdropped. It's like the current NFT you own has the metaverse ready embedded into the NFT itself. So when the time comes, and like Zilliqa is doing Metropolis, and there's so many other metaverse, we're creating the 3D avatars metaverse ready for any metaverse is what we're working towards. And then for chapter 2, our Women Mint that's coming up, there's an airdrop involved where every 5 Soulless NFTs that you own, you get a free NFT of the next mint, and we have special passes. We're doing a lot with that right now, so we just released the information on that.
I want to say a big thank you to YieldApp for sponsoring this podcast. Now, we may be in the midst of a bear market, but that's no reason to stop earning on your digital assets. YieldApp allows you to earn daily compounding interest on the biggest digital assets at the click of a button. YieldApp is a licensed fintech company built by a team with a strong background in traditional finance. YieldApp offers instant asset conversions, fiat on-ramp, auto compounding, and security features such as activity log, transaction history, and more. Simply deposit your digital assets and click to start earning daily rewards. And you can earn up to 1,000 of their native token, YLD, by referring your friends to YieldApp. You will also automatically join their monthly referral competition for a chance to win massive prizes.
James, I have to ask you, because this sounds like such a huge undertaking. I mean, it's a massive thing that you're doing. You're obviously a filmmaker and you have some experience in that space. How different is this from the stuff that you've already done? I mean, you're talking about creating video games, you're talking about creating 3D metaverse ready artwork. I mean, are you just kind of like drawing on the skills that you have as a filmmaker, or is this, completely out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, I think I've done a lot of random stuff like for the past, so I've worked on Hollywood films, I've done my own documentaries, like even award-winning documentaries, and then I just worked on so many random things like throughout the years. But I think largely has to do is, surround people, that are smarter than yourself or better in different areas, right? So I think the things that maybe I wouldn't fully understand, I've been able to surround myself with some incredible people. For example, Quinnance, our partners, the developing team, I mean, their whole team is really genius, like PhDs in computer science and all kinds of stuff where I'm very confident in what they're building in the game. And so it's like with their technical side, and then I'm really focused on the story and basically immersing kind of our whole community, right? Whether you're playing the game or whether you're following along with the NFTs, just really trying to build a world or universe, for the user experience. But it's been a huge learning experience as well. But luckily had some amazing contacts and people kind of join the team, like those writers and a lot of different people that have jumped on, which has been awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. I think when you're doing anything brand new like this, I mean, there's so many unknowns. I guess, Zilliqa, for example, is still really, they're pretty early in their kind of development. So, I mean, I guess you have to just be comfortable with the unknowns, right? I mean, you have to just sort of dive in with both feet and just hope it all works out. Yeah,
it is. I mean, and filmmaking, there's so much, you can work with, like, so the 3D art and all these different aspects is kind of like using everything I know in that realm to build out this world, whether it's like specific music that goes along with this world and the theme. And so it's been challenging and very fun at the same time, right? It's rewarding and difficult.
How has your experience been like working with the Zilliqa platform? Because, obviously we had Kevin Mayer on from Zilliqa a week or two ago. And I know a lot of people tuning into this episode will have listened to that and will have probably found us from that interview. So what's that experience been like, especially for somebody that's probably, you're probably technology proficient, but this is such a new technology. So what's that whole experience been like, and working with them? Because I know they give a lot of project support.
Yeah,
when building on the platform.
It's been a really good experience, right? As far as the community goes, like I mentioned, it's like I don't think there's any other community that's as passionate and supportive as the Zilliqa community. That's been an amazing reward. As far as the technology goes, like I've mentioned before, but I mean, Quinence is the commercial development partner for Zilliqa, or has been for years. So the lead dev and director, Ratul, he basically kind of helped develop the whole blockchain with Zilliqa as well. So it's been amazing experience, with him. I think even like the new standards they've came out with for NFTs, ZRC6 and ZRC7, that has enabled us, for example, to embed the 3D metaverse ready avatars within one NFT, right? So that's been a great experience. And I think we chose Zilliqa because of the potential, right? And like how they're growing. And as far as even in the Web3 space, like there's just a bright future I saw as how it's coming up. So so it's been a great experience.
Are there any sort of other projects or people in this space that have inspired you in some way? I mean, Ben and I are quite fortunate. We get to speak to loads and loads of different projects that are building different use cases on different platforms. But is there any one or any particular project that you've been inspired by or look up to in some way?
Yeah, I think there's a few. One creator that I've really enjoyed kind of going on a journey with when I started was Pac. And he's kind of like, he's always got tricks up his sleeve. He's always following, basically like he'll do a project one year and then it will reference a post from him 3 years ago that he was already planning this project. So everything he's done is really well thought out. But I think I couldn't say that it's my inspiration, but one thing I've really enjoyed seeing, I don't know how, if you guys have seen Goblin Town, this new NFT that's come out on Ethereum.
Yeah, we spoke about it on the show the other day. It was one of our segments.
Yeah. Right, everyone has their opinion on, but what they've done is incredible as far as like sticking to a story, sticking to branding, and building this community that it's hilarious what they've done. And it's just like, it brings you to the point of like the power of like community within a project.
Right. It's hilarious what they've done. So every weekend, every Saturday, we have our weekly roundup episode that goes out. And for all of our loyal listeners, they'll know we have a Weird World of Crypto segment. And I think it was last week, wasn't it, Ben, that we featured Goblin Town on the Weird World of Crypto segment, because it's just ridiculous and hilarious. And we kind of tongue in cheek tore it apart a little bit. But obviously, this is a thing that creatives can do this stuff, and then they can then build this community, and then the community decides whether it's good or not and whether there's value in it, which I think is really good. But I haven't got a goblin yet, but there's still time.
I did appreciate they were well thought out. They had everything planned out ahead, and everything had a reason and a purpose, which as a storyteller I enjoyed following it along, beyond all the peeing on stuff.
that was
the Goblin language, right? They did like Twitter Spaces just fully in Goblin language. I was like, okay, this is 3 hours of my life I'm never going to get back, but I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think any project like I think seeing how you get the community, how the community, like you said, decides if it's of worth, and then this community builds, and then rewarding that community, right? Like, it's like the beginning supporters. It's like as you grow, that they continue. So I really like projects that have taken that on, where, you've been with a project for so long, and it's like, and you just keep kind of getting rewarded for holding and believing in that project, supporting that project. And so that's the take, kind of we want to go with Soulless Citadel, is like, there's so many people that have stuck with us and bring tons of value even to our project, just as holders. So as we grow, we grow together. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys have got a really exciting roadmap as well. And I think there's a lot to kind of draw people in. For listeners that are interested in NFTs and maybe want to kind of get involved with what you're doing, what's the best route for them to take? I mean, how can they find you? How can they sort of buy the NFT?
Yeah, I think right now, like we will be releasing a lot of stuff like, not tomorrow, Friday, we'll be releasing a lot of the game details of how gameplay will work. But also what our devs are creating, we're creating our own marketplace for Soulless Citadel to buy and sell and do everything all within our own website. So as we build out and as we go into kind of multi-chain, we want to have like one spot, right, for the Soulless universe. So that will be coming out. Like it's really almost there, but at the moment right now, secondary market is on ZilSwap. There's a NFT marketplace called Arky. Yeah, so that's where you can pick them up right now. But basically everything that we're making, everything that will be all centered on SoullessCitadel.com. Soulless Citadel on Twitter, Discord also Soulless Citadel, and website SoullessCitadel.com.
The website looks amazing. So for anybody that's interested in finding out more, go over to the website, and then you can link up to all the social channels too. And you can buy some merch as well, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah,
I'm 100% buying some merch. Are you distributing to the UK yet, or have we got to hang on for that?
Yeah, it's worldwide. Merch has not fully launched yet. It's coming like within weeks. This week, next week. So full customizable merch. I have my NFT mug right here.
Okay, sweet. So if I've got an NFT, then I can get fully customizable merch delivered worldwide.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, that sounds good. All right. Well, you'll have to let us know when the merch store's open, and we'll do a shout out on the show.
Yeah, we'll have to get you guys an NFT. I'll have to give you an NFT to be part of the Citadel soon.
Excellent.
That's very kind of you. Yeah, we would love to. I mean, Ben and I we've bought a few NFTs. We've dabbled in the space really because we do this podcast. We wanted to start learning about them in a lot more detail, and there's no better way of learning than actually doing. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover off? Anything that we've missed? Anything that our listeners need to know about what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think. What we're really building, one thing that we've called it is the Soulless Citadel Cinematic Universe. So kind of what we're building, right? This is the start of the story. And we're involving each chapters and the world kind of in the game, everything like we've made the world so robust that, for example, our rarity score for our NFTs, right? You know, like some weapons are more rare. And most NFTs, right? Like that's just it. It means the NFT is more rare, so more valuable for us. For example, even the gameplay, there's a whole story, a backstory, origin story of each weapon. So if the trident or whatever it is more rare, there's a whole story why it's more rare. It's not just a number. Yeah, we're really creating this whole universe. And like I said, working with some real professionals to bring it into a full movie or full series. And we have some really exciting stuff. I mean, like really innovative stuff that we're trying to do, even to bring the whole story and the whole worlds into multi-chain and different things. So I'm really excited. We've been kind of spearheading like 3 or 4 things like all at once. So in the next few months, just to look back will be like a very exciting time.
Well, James, I mean, we're excited. I love speaking to creators in this space, people that have kind of got a vision and bringing it to life. And I think there's so much innovation happening. I think it takes a lot of guts to sort of try and pull something of this scale off. But I think, our listeners will sort of join me in wishing you the best of luck. We are absolutely going to follow you on this journey. And in a couple of months' time, if there are some updates, we'd love to get you back on the show just to see where you guys are at.
Yeah, definitely. And the Web3 and crypto space is from a retail investor standpoint, a bit of a scary place at times. But I think for builders and people building quality projects, there's never been a better time to get involved in this. And
yeah, thank you. I think that's one thing we didn't touch on, I think, is like amazing is I think what NFTs and the whole Web3 space will do for filmmaking and storytelling in general. And then maybe that's another time for another podcast for us. But I think NFTs really can and will disrupt kind of the whole distribution, fundraising, funding of everything for filmmaking. I think there's a big opportunity and possibility that I think companies and storytellers and filmmakers haven't really tapped into yet. So
it's an interesting one. We spoke about it on the show a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about Seth Green's project, and he was putting a screenplay together using the characters from his NFT collection, and then he had a phishing hack, and one of his NFTs was stolen, and then he didn't have the rights to write it into the story, and they'd already created these trailers, and it was a really interesting thing that happened. But you're right. I mean, NFT and kind of like the digital artwork space, I mean, it's kind of opened up fundraising for artists that otherwise didn't have access to markets, right? So it's exciting to see how that space is evolving. I think it's going to support the creative economy in ways that it just never has before.
100% agree on that. It's pretty exciting.
I think that'd be a good episode for us to do in the future, actually, to really just like delve into this as a topic, and it would be a good roundtable discussion. So maybe we could get you back for that. We're trying to do some more like use case and how like Web3 and NFTs are going to be changing existing industries. So when our producer starts putting that together, we'll reach out to you. And I think because I think you're right, that could be a whole other podcast altogether. But my mind buzzes with all the different things that filmmakers could do, especially filmmakers that have like things like Marvel and DC and things like that. That's an enormous opportunity for fans and for these brands.
100%. I think it's like, I'm surprised that one of the bigger ones hasn't fully caught that vision yet, but it's a coming, huge thing. It's going to be a huge thing. I really believe so.
Make sure you go to soulesscitadel.com for all of the information. Of course, we'll put all of the links to the social channels in the show notes as usual. So thanks very much, James.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you, Ben. It's been a pleasure.
It has. Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. It would mean the world to us if you could leave a review wherever you're listening. This really does help and allows other people to find us online. You can keep up to date with new releases of the podcast by subscribing and following us on Twitter or Instagram for the latest crypto-related news. Information provided by Crypto Pulse via this podcast, website, social media channels, and any other medium does not constitute financial advice, investment recommendations, or any other type of advice whatsoever. The Crypto Pulse team are not professional financial advisors. Trading and purchasing cryptocurrencies do carry risks, and anybody wishing to partake in such activities should seek professional advice.